the reason why there is a Happiness Studies Academy, the reason why, in fact, there is a field of psychology and so much research on it is because change is difficult. If change was easy, you wouldn't need the Happiness Studies Academy. You would just, you know, change however you want to change. There would be no work for therapists if change was easy. It's difficult, and therefore people go to therapy for some people go for years. And even after years, they still think, well, I can still improve, I can still grow. And we can always learn and grow. But the bottom line is that change is hard. And now we're only talking about personal change. You want to talk about changing others? That takes the difficulty level to a new place, greater heights. It's very difficult to change ourselves. It's even more difficult to change others. So what do we do when we feel like we're facing a wall? We have different options. One option is to say, I've had it. Turning around and moving. Another approach is to continue trying, and especially in relationships where we have no choice, so to speak. We don't choose our siblings, we don't choose our parents. And then the question is not how am I going to change that person, but how am I going to do my best? And maybe your best is I've tried, this is killing me, I'm going to stop trying. And I'm just going to, spend time with them, maybe less time than I did before, enough time so that I also protect myself. Or my choice can be, I'm not going to give up, I'm going to continue. Or maybe I'm going to continue until I no longer can, and then I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to do it again. Or maybe get to the stage where I accept that there are certain things that I cannot change about them. One of the reasons why, and I've seen this many times in long-term relationships, why they actually improve over time. Why, for example, you can see a couple who, got together in their, 20s. And of course, at the beginning, it's their honeymoon and it's amazing and it's wonderful. And then they had whatever children, and 30s, they only stay together because of the children. They really don't get along. And see, you look at them again in their 60s and 70s, and they're like, all lovey-dovey. Why is it? Have they changed? Sometimes, yes. But more often than not, it's because they have accepted one another's shortcomings. And let me say that word, yes, they have resigned to one another's shortcomings. And sometimes that's the best we can do. Sometimes. Here is what I'm saying. It depends on the context. Yes, by all means, try. Move some things that something else moves in them. Try different things. Experiment. Up to a point where you think it is perhaps enough, and you either give up on it or you continue doing it. Or you do things that will protect you. Because we cannot always change people. The approach is one which I learned from a famous teacher, 19th century rabbi. His name is Rabbi Hirsch from Germany. And he said, as a teacher, you're a gardener. What does this mean? What does this look like? You plant seeds. In other words, you change something, you do something, you plant seeds in your students. Whether the seed grows, germinates, whether it flourishes, that's out of your control. Sometimes it flourishes immediately, sometimes after 20 years. What we often see, and kids say that, I know I experienced it. Suddenly, I'm in my 30s and I'm doing something that my dad told me when I was 15 and completely rejected. Oh, wow. Yeah, he had a point there. Why? He planted the seed. And, some things germinate, others don't. Some things flourish, others disappear. We cannot we cannot guarantee that we'll bring about change in others, and we cannot live our lives through others. And that's important because I know of so many people in a relationship who ruin their lives and the lives of their partner because they continue to try to change something without accepting the fact that, well, maybe I can't. And when you accept the fact that you can't, you have to make a decision. Do I want to stay or not? And sometimes you have to stay. Or, I mean, you never have to stay, but you feel obligated to stay because it's a family member and you don't want to leave. Or for whatever reason. But accepting the fact that they're they, them, and we are we. We cannot always change others. Having said all that, the only way to change others is by changing something. So if we do have a chance, then we need to do something. And whether by talking to them about it, or by changing our behaviors, or by setting limits on their behaviors, or whatever it is, try things. My experiments with truth, says Gandhi. Experiment. If it works, great. If it doesn't, let's move on. And Paul always asks the question, what's the best thing for me to do in this situation? Because when we think about it this way, it's usually also the best thing for them in the long term. Not easy. Not easy. It's not easy as a friend, a partner, a parent, a colleague. It's not easy to see how difficult it is to change others. But remember, so difficult to change ourselves. Even more so when it comes to others.